Embodying the eternal self. Now, full disclaimer before I start this video, I am by no means suggesting to be a master. In fact, this is very much the path that I'm on, and what I'd like to suggest, the path that all of us are on. And so, before we dive into this, I'd like to describe the eternal self as the conscious awareness that we have deep within that transcends all ideas of physical reality, okay, and possibly other realities that we're unaware of. Okay, the eternal self is that self that is infinite. It's infinite intelligence, it's infinite spirit, it's God, all that is, unity, great mystery, universe, whatever the monad, whatever the word to describe it, that's what it is. That's the eternal self, okay? The eternal self is unburdened by our five senses, it is unburdened by our physical body, it's unburdened by the ideas of limitation. It is our true self beyond our separation. Okay, so if you imagine one singular point strung out into billions of different, equally powerful, equally undiluted, I know that's a tautological side there, but completely fractalized into 8 billion souls, and when we pass on, we go back. Okay, so that's the eternal self. Now, embodying the eternal self, to me, is a practice that many people have been seeking to attain. The Tibetan monks, you have Indian yogis, etc., individuals who have been seeking to attain a certain state of consciousness, a certain state of being. And so I prefer not to separate ourselves from those individuals who have monasteries in the mountains to seek to attain these levels of consciousness outside of the distractions of modern society. You know, I like to keep ourselves in there because whether we are on a mountain or not, we are playing a part of the game of life. Okay, and I certainly would like more peace in my life. I certainly would like more joy in my life, more love in my life, more creativity in my life, more capacity for creation in my life. And I think I have quite a high capacity as it stands. You know, I can detach very easily. I can, in the sense of when things happen, I don't cling on to them too tightly. You know, like life is life, and I've had plenty of examples of being infinitely divinely supported. And so I vowed to never question that a long time ago, and I don't. It gets hard. We're human beings, it gets challenging. So embodying, the title of this video, the eternal self, is of course one of my goals on a daily basis, and one that I'm practicing a lot more now. I have things, ironically, this is sat in front of me. I know what some of you might say with plastic laminations, but I got them secondhand anyway, so it'd already been created in the world. And these will be eternal for me, ironically. So I've got little things like divine affirmations, I've got my little Napoleon Hill things, I don't think they're close to me, they're over there. So I have a daily practice, my journal, which is one thing that I focus upon. I have a journal that I very much appreciate. This is my journal that I use. I haven't used it for a very, very long time, but I've started using it again. And in using it again, you know, doing certain things to bring myself to the awareness of the present moment. Like I listen to audios like Think and Grow Rich, I do breath work, listen to classical songs, I'm learning shanties at the minute, because who doesn't love a nice sea shanty to sing to? So the point being is that embodying the eternal self in our daily life is a powerful goal to have. And one of the ways of doing it is being able to try your best. And I know this is the worst piece of advice that everybody gives, that I'm going to give as well, but it's one of those things, is to try your best to stay centered and present throughout the day. Now, if I was to give you a percentage of how much I'm consciously aware throughout the day, it might even be 0.5%. You know, I truthfully, when you're working, when you've got responsibilities, when you've got things to do, and wanting to do a lot throughout the day, it makes the capacity to be consciously present, to me, more challenging, to embody your eternal self in the present moment. And so one of my chief aims, one of my goals, is to remain consciously aware throughout the day. Now, I've got a couple of little things that I use in order to do that. Sometimes when I feel this banging on my chest, it reminds me to keep it. It's just a little linen pouch, little medicine pouch like the native Indians. So I've got different reminders and things in here that I carry around with me. Other things that can keep you very present is sort of like using the sense. So we've just talked about physical touch. We're talking about senses. You know, sometimes I'll burn these and smell them to bring me to the present awareness. My brothers over at Sons of Asgard, who I absolutely love, down in Glastonbury, being able to smell things like this can bring you back into the present moment. So again, it's just about understanding that my main point of this video isn't so much embodying the eternal self in a modern but also presenting to you that you have and are an eternal self. Okay, so you might have, you know, be afraid of death. You might be afraid of, you know, the consequences of life leading to death. You are eternal. So if you can embody that understanding, not only does it help to ease the fear of death, but it also helps you to understand how you create your own reality, okay? And how your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, ideas, and imagination all blended into one, which is a communication between, as we've talked about in previous videos, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, or your mind in itself and the eternal self, or God, or the universe, or etc., etc. Okay, the subconscious mind, etc. So embodying the eternal self is a powerful philosophy because it allows us to walk our life with more presence. And when you have more presence, you can make better decisions. Your relationships get more enriched and nourished. You're allowed to pursue your purpose to a greater level of awareness because you're tapping in to that deeper voice, okay, that deeper internal knowing. You know, this is just about understanding that the answers that people are seeking, everybody says your answers are within, but then when it comes to seeking to find those answers, it can be hard. And usually it's because the eternal self, infinite spirit, great mystery, God, universe, all that is being muffled, okay, or it's being stifled out. And it's being stifled out by distraction, it's being stifled out by fear, by doubt, by worry, concern, anxiety, whatever words. These are the things that are preventing it. Anger, hatred, lust, the focus upon too much on the external, not enough breathing and meditation and being present with yourself. And again, I'm not claiming to be a master at this, but I recognize its value and I recognize how much I personally do it myself and how much I would like to do it. Okay, so understanding that your eternal self permeates all forms of existence can allow you to recognize that in those quiet moments when you're constructing your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, your beliefs, and your path for the future, in those quiet moments you are communicating with your eternal self and it will be listening. Okay, and these things will come to pass if you give them enough feeling. And this is, you know, what I'm about to say could put the fear in people as a whole, but whatever you give substantial feeling and emotion to ends up happening. People who are constantly talking about the fear of getting ill and getting sick and getting disease coincidentally end up getting sick and getting ill and getting diseases, right? The people who constantly talk about being wealthy and rich and have the energy to pursue that with actionable purpose get wealthy and rich, you know? So this is one of those opportunities for you to come back to being present with yourself, okay, and understanding that your eternal self is the bridge to all the things that you want, okay? So I hope you found the concept of this video interesting. It's a big one and it's hard to just put in simple terms, you know, in the sense of understanding all the nuances to your eternal self and who you truly are. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope that it gave you something to think about. Please feel free to drop a comment down below with your thoughts. Like this video if it's on YouTube. And I just want to say take care of yourselves, my friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.